What is going on, everybody? DemiGodReviews here, coming to you guys with some Last of Us gameplay. Now, like I said in my gaming resolutions video that I just released today, link to that will be in the description box below, I am going into my backlog and I'm beating these games, and The Last of Us is one of them. And before you get upset, before you get astonished, I haven't beat The Last of Us and I haven't beat the DLC, but that is another conversation for another time. But also, while this video is going on, you may see me aim a little shoddy. I was trying to get my bearings, so forgive me for my bad aiming. But yes, welcome to ThinkPiece. Now, ThinkPiece is just something I'll be doing, not a part of the main ThinkPiece series, just something I want to talk about, or a topic I wanted to talk about, but not have it on the main ThinkPiece video because it's a slow news week. It isn't something major to talk about, but this is kind of major, so I decided to give it its own video. So let's talk about what I wanted to talk about today. Now, if you haven't heard the news, Nexon, Cliffy B, LawBreakers, it's a dead game. It isn't doing great. Well, it didn't do great, and it's basically a dead game. A news source came out basically saying that the publisher blames PUBG for LawBreakers flopping. Now, this is an interesting topic. This is an interesting article. I'm not going to read it all to you because you can read it yourself while you watch this video, but I'm going to give you guys a quote and a piece by piece of what I took from the article because I thought it was interesting. Nexon's latest financial results include a whopping 32.6 million expenses hole, the majority of which was meant to be filled by Cliff Bielinski's unloved game LawBreakers. Nexon financial executive Shiro Yamura, who blamed PUBG for the failure of its take on the oversaturated hero shooter genre. Now, quote from this Shiro Yamura: "LawBreakers is a unique first-person shooter developed for core users. We had a very high expectations for its launch," Yamura continued. "However, the timing of its launch seemed to be unfortunate. Specifically, the blockbuster PC online game PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds came out right at the same time, making the market environment very tough for first-person shooters in general and for LawBreakers." Now, there's something I want to touch on that, because there's a lot of games that were still out around the time that PUBG came out and still did well, even in the Battle Royale genre itself. Now, let me give you 3 reasons why LawBreakers truly failed. It wasn't that it was a hero shooter. It came out around the time when people are tired of the fast-paced, over-the-top, futuristic shooters with exosuits and anti-gravity time and whatever you want to call it. People hit the wall and we're done with that, so now people wanted boots on the ground gaming. Also, Paladins has stayed around during the dominance of Overwatch. LawBreakers could have also stayed around. The general eye and appeal of LawBreakers, as seen on Reddit and GameFAQs and other various sites, most people thought it was a generic shooter and should have been free to play, which a lot of people said that. A lot of people said they were waiting for it to hit PS Plus and just generally be free to play. Number 2, the other reason why LawBreakers failed was originally that Cliffy did a lot of talking how it was strictly PC only and generally built for a PC crowd. Then when he announced it for consoles, he flipped the script and was showing love to PlayStation and suddenly dogging Xbox. Which, granted, some of the extreme fanboys weren't really left with the insults, but still, he shat on consoles hard body. And I remember that. I remember a lot of development talk. I remember him just giving interviews and really just pooping on consoles, and now he announced it for PlayStation and was just really dogging Xbox. I remember all of that. And my last and third reason, the last reason why LawBreakers fails, is that they tend to place the blame on other games' success or try to make it seem like they were competing but weren't competing at the same time. The guy giving out financials blames PUBG on LawBreakers not doing well. While PUBG has had an outstanding year of success on his game, other games have lived to tell a tale during that PUBG love, such as Fortnite, League, Counter-Strike, Overwatch, Paladins, etc., etc. Just before PUBG was Overwatch, before LawBreakers release, as Cliffy was trying to use that as a deterrent as well, saying that they weren't trying to compete, but they also were trying to compete, but they didn't want to compare it to Overwatch, but it was a hero shooter. When it's just safe to say that Cliffy might not have had confidence in his game like he should have. And lastly, to wrap this all up, if Cliffy and Nexon wanted to see this game get the rights that it needs and deserves, they should have just went for free to play, and they should have just released the Xbox version, built in some microtransactions, supported the game, and did everything they needed to do. It was an oversaturated, futuristic shooter where people got tired of it. People wanted to go back to boots on the ground gameplay, as we've seen from Call of Duty and Battlefield. And you know, Overwatch and Paladins had the top spot holding that down, and they really haven't been holding it down since. It wasn't that LawBreakers was a bad game per se. It was a fun game, great gameplay, but a lot of people just weren't impressed by the game itself. I enjoyed LawBreakers during the beta time. I considered grabbing it around the time it was released to have a secondary shooter like to Overwatch and Titanfall 2, but it just didn't entice people, and that's something that Cliffy B has to live with. Certain games don't do well. Look at Battleborn, and some games do. Look at Fortnite. It's just one of those games that didn't do well, didn't find the success that it should have, and that's just something that Cliffy has to live with. Instead of trying to place the blame on other games such as PUBG, such as Overwatch, he should have just had more confidence in his game. He said he wanted to be the Dark Souls of shooters, and he wanted to do much more to the shooter genre with LawBreakers. It just didn't have that general appeal that everybody agreed with. But what do you guys think? Do you think it's Cliffy's fault? Do you think it's an oversaturated shooter genre? Do you think, you know, it just came out at the wrong time? It should have had a better time? Do you think it should have been free to play? What are your thoughts on LawBreakers? How do you feel about the game? Do you feel that it's a flop? Do you feel that it should have been just better timing? Or do you feel like it didn't get the love that it deserved? Because LawBreakers generally was a good game. It was fun, but it just didn't get a lot of love. Well, that is all, folks. I thank you guys for stopping for Diet Think Piece. A new Think Piece episode will be coming this month, so stay tuned for that. Go check out my gamer resolutions video. Until next time, and until the next video, guys, we'll tune in, turn up, and throw down. I'm out, and thank you guys for watching. It's looking like a GG.